Can I hear a big thank you? Thank you, President Trump, right? Okay, so my name is Miss Verma, and I'm going to read you The Bernstein Bears Go to the Doctor. Has anybody read this book before? No. No? Some of you have. Do all of you guys go to the doctor sometimes? You do? I think everybody's supposed to go to the doctor sometimes. All right. Well, this is called The Bernstein Bears Go to the Doctor. Tomorrow, said Mama Bear as she helped the cubs get ready for bed, you'll be going to the doctor for a checkup. Doctor, said Brother Bear, we're not sick. And what's a checkup? Asked Sister Bear, a little worried. It's just like what it sounds, said Mama. Dr. Grizzly will check to see if you are growing the way healthy cubs should. Looks like somebody's nervous. Will it hurt? Asked Sister, pulling the covers up close. Now, now, said Papa Bear as he kissed her goodnight. You just settle down. There's absolutely nothing to worry about. But Sister wasn't so sure. The next morning, after a good breakfast, the family got into their red roadster and were on their way. Do you ever get checkups, Mama? Sister asked as they drove along the dusty dirt road. Yes, I do, answered Mama. I don't need checkups anymore, bragged Papa, because achoo! I never get sick. That was quite a sneeze, said Mama. It's this dusty road, said Papa, turning onto the main highway into Beartown. They pulled to a stop in front of the doctor's office. Come, cubs, said Mama. We don't want to be late for our appointment. But Brother held back. He remembered something. Are we going to get shots? That's up to achoo, said the doctor, said Papa, sneezing an even bigger sneeze than before. Bless you, said Mama. It's just this bright sunlight, sniffed Papa. I never get sick. See, there's his big sneeze. He does, that's right. The doctor's waiting room was a busy, cheerful place with pictures on the walls, books to look at, and puzzles to do. Brother started a puzzle. Sister took a book, but she really didn't look at it. Other bears were coming in, and she looked around the room at them. There were cubs of all ages with their parents. Some of the smallest cubs looked a little worried. Sister smiled at them so they wouldn't be afraid. There was a big cub with a cast on his leg, and it had names and funny drawings all over it. He let Brother write his name on it for luck, and Sister drew a picture. See that over there? There was even a little baby cub, only a few weeks old. Next, called Dr. Grizzly. It was Brother and Sister's turn. Dr. Grizzly was friendly, but she got right to work. She had a lot of bears to take care of and not much time to waste. First, she weighed and measured the cubs. Fine, she said, you've both gained weight nicely and grown taller. Then she listened to their chests with a stethoscope, and she poked them all over to check everything on the inside. Then Dr. Grizzly took each cub's temperature to see if it was normal. 98.6. And she checked their throats, and she looked at their eyes, their ears, and noses with a special little light. Next, she tested their hearing by whispering very softly. Then came the eye test. Brother read every letter except the very smallest, and Sister didn't know all the letters yet, so she read a special chart that looked like this. It just has funny little squiggly things. Very good, said the doctor as she studied some papers in a folder. Sister whispered to Brother, so far, it hasn't hurt at all. Well, that pretty much takes care of it, said Dr. Grizzly, looking through her glasses at the papers. Except for one thing. I see it's time for your booster shots. I knew it, said Brother. Why do we have to have shots when we're not even sick, said Sister. Now, Sister, said Papa. The doc, achoo! Doctor knows best. Bless you, said Dr. Grizzly, and that's a very good question, Sister. As she got the shots ready, she called out into the waiting room. I've got a brave little cub here who's going to show you all how to take a shot. Getting back to your question, Sister, said Dr. Grizzly, you see, there are some kinds of medicines that you take after you get sick, and those are very useful. But this kind of a shot is a special medicine that keeps you from getting sick. Will it hurt? Asked Sister. Not nearly as much as biting your tongue or bumping your shin, the doctor explained. There, it's all done. Dr. Grizzly was right, and it happened so fast that Sister didn't even have time to say ouch. The little cubs who were watching were very, very impressed, and so was Brother. After Brother's shot, Papa said, well, Doctor, we'll be achoo! Going now. Just a minute, Papa Bear, said Dr. Grizzly. Let me have a look at you. Oh, no, but I never get sick, Papa started to say. Temperature above normal. Throat red. Nose all stuffed. Time for your medicine, Papa, said the cubs, offering him a big spoonful of the gooey pink stuff that Dr. Grizzly prescribed for his cold. Well, said Papa, smiling weakly, I hardly ever get sick. And that's it. Is that good? How about another one? Do you guys like stories about bears? Everybody like bears? All right, so raise your hand if you have a teddy bear at home. Everybody have a teddy bear? You have 3 teddy bears. Wow, that's awesome. 2. Oh, 20 of them. All right, well, this is another story about a teddy bear, and it's called Corduroy. Has anybody heard of this book before? Oh, good. You've read it before? Good. All right, so you can tell me if I do a good job then, all right? If I miss any words. All right. Corduroy is a bear who once lived in the toy department of a big store. Day after day, he waited with all of the other animals and dolls for somebody to come along and take him home. The store was always filled with shoppers buying all sorts of things, but no one ever seemed to want a small bear in green overalls. Then one morning, a little girl stopped and looked straight into Corduroy's bright eyes. "Oh, Mommy," she said, "look, there's the very bear I've always wanted." "Not today, dear," her mother sighed. "I spent too much already. Besides, he doesn't look new. He's lost the button to one of his shoulder straps." Corduroy watched them sadly as they walked away. "I didn't know I'd lost a button," he said to himself. "Tonight I'll go and see if I can find it." Late that evening, when all of the shoppers had gone and the doors were shut and locked, Corduroy climbed carefully down from his shelf and began searching everywhere on the floor for his lost button. He looks pretty sad. Suddenly, he felt the floor moving under him. Quite by accident, he had stepped onto an escalator, and up he went. Could this be a mountain, he wondered? I think I've always wanted to climb a mountain. He stepped off the escalator as it reached the next floor, and there before his eyes was a most amazing sight. Tables and chairs and lamps and sofas and rows of beds. This must be a palace, Corduroy gasped. I guess I've always wanted to live in a palace. He wandered around, admiring the furniture. This must be a bed, he said. I've always wanted to sleep in a bed. And up he crawled onto the large, thick mattress. And all at once, he saw something small and round. Why, here's my button, he cried. And he tried to pick it up. But like all the other buttons on the mattress, it was tied down tight. He yanked and pulled with both paws until pop! Off came the button. And off the mattress, Corduroy toppled. Bang! Into a large floor lamp. Over it fell with a crash. Corduroy didn't know it, but there was someone else awake in the store. The night watchman was going his rounds on the floor above. When he heard the crash, he came dashing down the escalator. Now, who in the world did that? He exclaimed. Somebody must be hiding around here. He's got his big flashlight. He flashed his light under and over sofas and beds until he came to the biggest bed of all. And there he saw 2 fuzzy brown ears sticking up from under the cover. You see them? Hello, he said. How did you get upstairs? And Corduroy looks pretty scared. The watchman tucked Corduroy under his arm and carried him down the escalator and set him on the shelf in the toy department with the other animals and dolls. Corduroy was just waking up when the first customers came into the store in the morning, and there, looking at him with a wide, warm smile, was the same little girl he had seen only the day before. I'm Lisa, she said, and you're going to be my very own bear. Last night I counted what I've saved in my piggy bank, and my mother said I could bring you home. Shall I put him in a box for you? The sales lady asked. Oh, no, thank you, Lisa answered, and she carried Corduroy home in her arms. She ran all the way up 4 flights of stairs and into her family's apartment and straight to her own room. It's hard to turn these pages when it's so cold. We're ready for the last page here. Last couple of pages. Corduroy blinked. There was a chair and a chest of drawers, and alongside a girl-sized bed stood a little bed just the right size for him. See, he gets his own little bed. The room was small, nothing like that enormous palace in the department store. This must be home, he said. I know. I've always wanted a home. Lisa sat down with Corduroy on her lap and began to sew a button on his overalls. I like you just the way you are, she said, but you'll be more comfortable with your shoulder strap fastened. You must be a friend, said Corduroy. I've always wanted a friend. Me too, said Lisa, and she gave him a big hug. The end. Yay, Corduroy. Well, thank you, boys and girls, for listening today, and I hope you have a wonderful time at the Easter egg hunt. You guys get to decorate some cookies, too? You ready to do that? Well, have fun, and happy Easter, everybody. Thank you.